So, Nick, we talked about this yesterday. You didn't seem 100% sold on the idea. Now that it's official, now that it's settled in, are you more excited about adding a guy like LeVeon Bell, that caliber of a running back, to your offense, to the Chiefs' offense?
No, it's my offense. I appreciate that. Me, Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, we all have an equal hand in it. So I think a lot of it depends on if my offense listens to me on how to use LeVeon Bell. If LeVeon Bell is there, essentially, as a third receiver and a guy who the Chiefs can trot out 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end, and then, look like they're running the football, and then split out 5 wide and have massive tactical advantages, then I'm here for it. If they added LeVeon Bell so they can further commit to a running game that I think is not the way this Chiefs team is going to have its most success, then I'm a little more ambivalent on the move. And that's what I was expressing yesterday, is that because they had spent a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now that they've added LeVeon Bell, I feel like they are going to almost be incentivized to take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, and I do not want them to do that. But Wilds, my takeaway from this yesterday was less about on the field and more about what it represents league-wide. Because, and you're not going to like this, man, but the Chiefs' transformation into the Patriots is now complete. When LeVeon Bell got released, I was like, oh, we know how this is going to end. He's going to sign with the Patriots for nothing. The rich get richer. And then I was like, hold on a second. That's the Chiefs now. They're going to get the great player who has to prove himself because he wants to win a ring. The last step of the transformation is for the fans and media that support the Chiefs to become outwardly obnoxious, and I'm doing my best to get that ball rolling as well. So I like the Chiefs' transformation from the previous dynasty to the new dynasty, Wilds. I think this LeVeon Bell addition might be the final piece of it.
Look, if the Patriots wanted LeVeon Bell would have come to the Patriots. We're second in the league in rushing. We didn't need LeVeon Bell. If he wanted to come, say, hey, I want to play my role, and Belichick said, like, hey, you only get 2, you're gonna get your 2 carries. If he wanted to come and win a ring, that's fine. But right now, you guys are 19th in rushing if you take away that Texans games. We're second. We're good money.
Wait,
so,
what?
Brandon, I thought this was a very unselfish move. LeVeon Bell says he's got a lot to prove. He never had a 100-yard rushing game. He had a 260-some-odd carries. He never broke a 20-yard run. If I was him, I would be a little bit reticent to go to the Chiefs, when I didn't know if they would use me as much. Me, I would go to whatever team would give me the most carries, and I don't know if that's the Chiefs, Brandon.
Talking about selfish, bro, it's been 170-something days since someone's worn a tie on this shirt, and you have a tie. I mean, you look good. You look good, but you're putting Nick and I in a bad spot. We're actually embracing this virtual thing, right? Sitting in our living rooms, not wearing a tie.
Bad teammate.
We feel good, and you have a tie on in your living room right now.
It's
I'm in my children's playroom.
Is it a guy thing? Is that a guy thing?
All right, let's get back to LeVeon Bell. I thought about this. Wilds, yes, you have a point here. Miami Dolphins, I was like, oh, this is interesting. He can go there and beat a guy. He could potentially have 25 touches a game. And he could get his career back on track. And then I thought about having the best of both worlds in the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a guy that's going to be used finally the proper way. Adam Gase never adjusted. Adam Gase never put him in the same position the Steelers put him in. The Chiefs, there's an argument that the Chiefs may use LeVeon better than Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers did. This can be scary. Now there's a lot of people out there thinking like, well, is he the same guy? If you turn on tape, he lost this step. The burst isn't there. The feet isn't there. The vision isn't there. Well, they said the same thing about me in 2011 when the Miami Dolphins traded me to the Chicago Bears. I just went for 1,500 yards, almost 12 touchdowns, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. And then, the Bears did the same thing. Oh, let's trade him to the New York Jets. He's done. He's washed. 1,500 yards again, All-Pro. Pro Bowl, 14 touchdowns. And I think about LeVeon in this way. Yes, he has a lot to prove, and this is going to be a great fit. Mahomes can lean on him. Andy Reid's going to use him. I like this, Jenna.
All right, so a couple things real quick, Jenna. One is I'm supposed to be the numbers guy, but I'm going to have to steal a page out of Kevin Wild's statistical playbook because it's a really interesting thing he does, which is you remove the best time a team did something and then say without that they suck. We saw this starting with the Finals MVP. It's like if you remove this game that hurts my case, Anthony Davis Finals MVP. And I don't know if the audience heard it. They're like, hey, if you remove that game, the Chiefs ran the ball really well. They're not that good at running the ball. So I'm going to have to try to work that into my repertoire. As far as the LeVeon Bell comps, Brandon, in continuing the theme of the Chiefs being the new Patriots, I'm going to use a different wide receiver who was on an all-time Hall of Fame track, went to a struggling team where he didn't look like the same guy. He looked like he'd lost a step. He didn't look motivated. And then all of a sudden, snapped back to his old self immediately. And that's Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Say it.
And I'm not saying LeVeon's going to have the 07 Moss season because I don't think he is, but I do think it can't be dismissed the comps of Moss's per-game production in Minnesota was the best in the history of the league coming out of college. Then he goes to Oakland. He looks like a shell of himself. And then he gets in a place with an explosive offense, an innovative offensive mind, and you see the best version of him yet. The Chiefs, Jenna, don't need the best version of LeVeon yet. They just need like 80% of Steelers LeVeon, and it is a huge asset for them to have.
All right, so LeVeon Bell is going to Kansas City, and Nick is going to be maddening when the Chiefs probably never lose again. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.